everybody, and welcome to SyncApps Walkthrough Wednesday series. I am Joanna, and I will be hosting the webinar for today. And our featured topic is, of course, integrating your Zoho CRM List Views with SyncApps. So with me is our guest speaker, Michael Trow from Alderbest Solutions, and he will be with me discussing with you and focusing the Zoho CRM List Views and how you can integrate that with SyncApps. So thank you so much for your time, for being with us today. And please be reminded that this webinar is currently being recorded for post-marketing purposes. And if you have any further questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to ask them at the chat box. And our support representatives will be very much happy to assist you. So the agenda for today's webinar is as follows. Firstly, we will have an overview on Zoho CRM List Views. And next, I will be discussing Alderbest Solutions and what they can provide for your business. Of course, Michael Trow from Alderbest will be talking about how you can integrate your Zoho CRM List Views with SyncApps and how it works, basically. And fourth, I will also be sharing with you a little bit about how you can easily set it up with SyncApps. And of course, I'll be sharing more on our available Zoho CRM integrations to date and the SyncApps advantage that might be very helpful for your business. And of course, the very last portion of our webinar is a question and answer portion. But please feel free to ask any questions throughout the chat box throughout the webinar. Okay, so firstly, I'd just like to introduce you to Zoho CRM List Views. So a list view is basically a grouping of your Zoho CRM records based on your defined set of criteria. You can set any type of criteria, and as long as that record matches it, it will belong automatically to that specific list view in your Zoho CRM. So list views are very beneficial for displaying specific data of your customers or your database accordingly to your business's requirements. Now, there are two types of list views. First is the standard list view, which is it's a standard view that you can modify and sort the order of the columns in the list. But however, you cannot delete these standard and default list views by Zoho. The second one is a custom list view wherein you can create, modify, and even delete the custom views, and you can also sort the order of the columns in the list. So Michael from Alderbest will also be discussing list views in depth once he is on his slides. So again, I would like to introduce you all to our guest speaker for today, which is Alderbest Solutions. And they provide and help small and expanding businesses leverage their CRM to increase productivity, improve customer interactions, and of course, by time, grow the bottom line. So Alderbest Solutions is very proud to be Zoho Advanced Partner, and as well as they provide services specifically for Zoho CRM to you and to other CRM businesses as well. So please help me welcome, without further ado, Mr. Michael Trow, the president of Alderbest Solutions, and he will be talking about Zoho CRM List Views.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much, Joanna. Joanna, I just noticed you may need to make me the presenter so I can show my screen. So while we do that.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
Perfect. So everybody should be able to see my screen now. If there's any questions or technical issues, to draw them in the chat box, and one of the staff on the call will be able to help everybody. But yeah, I really appreciate the chance to be here. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about how to integrate Zoho CRM with Mailchimp, and a common question that we get is around how to segment data, how to get specific compilations of data from your overall database, and how that can be beneficial in integrations such as those that SyncApps provides. So I was asked just to expand a little bit on what we talked about before. And, it is a really key area. A lot of the work we do is, really around helping people with all parts of their CRM journey. Whether it's sort of planning and reviewing, setting up and implementing the tool from top to bottom. But really, some of the core areas we get involved with, especially as people look into, the new year, is around lead management, how to optimize the processes for which they're managing their leads to, maximize the results they get from them, and then also how to, expand CRM into the email marketing and go beyond the sort of core sales element that a CRM provides. So a lot of this is really relevant in terms of, the email marketing, the process development. How about, we go from, this is our huge database of prospects, customers, and other groups, and how do we, make sure that we're able to send targeted emails to people through our email marketing tool to, nurture them towards making a buying decision. What we spoke about a couple of weeks ago was more about, there's two ways you can look at an integration, and that's really how, or where SyncApps comes into it, is so that you've got, what data and what processes am I looking to align, and how are we going to send that data through to our third-party tools such as Mailchimp, Constant Contact, and all the others you see on the right of the screen there, and then what data do we want to come back from those tools. Oftentimes what people think about when they think about the email marketing portion of things is, is the end result, so I just want to be able to send emails from, Mailchimp, etc., and, send, and my marketing person or department, this is what they're doing. Not a lot of time or thought is sometimes given from, well, how is this all going to fit in with our bigger picture in CRM? So, the integration, how it works is, really worthwhile considering in its entirety. So from the CRM app, you would have your contacts, leads, or accounts, pushing that data into your email marketing tool. And, that's going to enable you to sync your records into lists or groups. And that's very much the part we're going to concentrate on today. Then we get into the part that most people think about is we're going to then send our email campaigns, and we're going to do what we've been doing through these tools to date. But then, do we want some of that data, or what data do we want to come back into our CRM? So is that going to be the contact level information if people click through to update my profile or preferences and from those emails they receive? And is it going to include the campaign responses, so whether they open, clicked, etc.? So with SyncApps, all that information does come across, or that whole cycle can be facilitated. But most people oftentimes just start with the the all aspect. So I'm going to be looking at syncing all of my data, all my leads, all my contacts to my master list. But as they get into it, or for specific purposes, they start to think about what could be done beyond that, and to help them send more targeted emails. So on your screen now, what you should see is a process chart. I just wanted to bring this back up. This is what we had on screen a couple of weeks ago when we last did a session here. And this is just a basic or common flow that you may see when deploying an email integration through SyncApps with your CRM. So what you can see is on the left-hand side, or in the swim lane on the left, you've got the lead generation column. So you have all this different activity, all these records are coming into Zoho. So you may have some digital advertising, you may be purchasing lists, or you may get them from a trade show, something like that. People may call in. Of course, you're doing lots and lots of different things to generate interest or raise awareness to your business. All that data is going to funnel into Zoho, whether it's manually entering it or having it automatically created from one of these channels. Then you go into that lead management phase into Zoho CRM. So, then, as we say, you've got that moment to decide whether you're going to have all of the data go across. So every single lead that is created, do you want that to go across to your email marketing tool like Mailchimp, or is there going to be a part in the process when you do want to have that data go across? So you may, as you can see, sort of halfway down through the screen, you may have it where you're looking to, during the qualification period, you may not want those records yet at that time going into Mailchimp or your email tool. You may want to have that opportunity to interact with them through your sales department first. So they may either make a decision at that point after those initial interactions of saying, yes, we're interested in talking about how you can help us. Let's talk about a quote or something. Or they're going to be, yeah, not maybe right now, but sometime in the future. So they'll go into some sort of nurture sequence or pot, and that's when they're going to be added to your email marketing tool. And then on the right-hand side, you can see how that can activity will happen in those tools, and then filter back through into Zoho to enable and facilitate the sales follow-up. So if you bear this process in mind when we're talking about the lists and everything else, that's going to help give you some context. So just sort of taking back to a couple of things we said a minute ago, there's when we're talking about how and what to integrate with Zoho CRM and your email tool like Mailchimp, there's really two parts to consider. One would be the process and requirements with data from Zoho, and then the processes and requirements with data back to Zoho. When we're talking about lists, it's really the first part. It's with data from Zoho. So is it the all data and all processes, meaning we've got this universal process that we're looking to facilitate, meaning that all leads, all contacts, we want that into Zoho, from Zoho into our email marketing tool, or is it a subset of the data and all processes, or a subset of data with unique processes? That's really what we're focusing on today when we're talking about list management and using individual or group syncs from those lists. So we're saying with that if you've got a subset of data, not all, meaning people that reach or meet certain criteria, are they going to be part of one core process or all of our processes where those email marketing efforts are going to align, and anybody that's coming across and those subsets are going to get those emails? Or is it going to be a subset of the data where we have unique processes? So maybe a certain channel they come through. So if someone comes from a certain digital advertising initiative you're running, maybe you want them to be synced into your email tool to receive specific communications from there. Maybe it's people that meet criteria such as their buying habits or otherwise. And so it's really the who and the when that we want to focus on. And that's what the list management and the custom views in CRM can enable. So, when we're talking about this custom list views, as Joanna said, you've got the opportunity to create, modify, and delete the custom views. And you can also sort the order of the columns and play around with it within Zoho and use it for your CRM related functions, such as your sales follow-up and everything else. But yes, when we're talking about integrations through SyncApps, those lists can sync to email marketing lists, meaning I have a view in Zoho, like the one we'll show you in a second, and that is going to be synced to this list. We just want people in this view to be synced to this list because we're going to use this list for specific purposes as part of our email marketing. Or that CRM list can sync to a group. So you may have a group or segment, such as in Mailchimp, as part of your master list, and you want to say that you want to sync a list from Zoho CRM, people that meet certain criteria, into that group, and then have that all nicely synced up so that when you're doing your email campaigns, those groups are already in place. So if you just want to send an email to that group and not the list in its entirety, you know that that's supported. Something really important to bear in mind here is that it's one thing when we're thinking about leads, and that is oftentimes where a lot of our attention is sort of focused, because we're in this lead management frenzy in the world right now, but we can't forget contacts or customers. So if you're using Zoho CRM or thinking about it, you'll see that leads and contacts are two separate things. They are two separate entities, objects or modules as they're known in Zoho. In something like Mailchimp, Constant Contact, etc., they are subscribers. They do not, or Constant Contact, Mailchimp do not differentiate between leads and contacts. So if you do want to apply any of what we're talking about here from the contacts module, and you are thinking about, yes, there is level at the business information if we are a business-to-business company, or at the household level if we're a business-to-consumer company, we want to make sure that data is on the contact record in Zoho CRM so that it is available for the purposes we're talking about. There are some things you can do to make sure that data is within Zoho, synced across between accounts and contacts, which is really important to bear in mind. So as you can see just underneath that here, some of the common areas that people may look to do this in would be, industry. So making sure that the different types of industries could be segmented into lists or sent across as groups for specific purposes. I'm just going to bring up a pointer here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you're scoring your records, so maybe you're applying lead or contact scoring based on performance or certain attributes. You may want to use that in your list views. So people with a score higher than X, you may want to have in a list view and sync those across to a specific group or list in Mailchimp or constant contact for specific purposes. Interests, what are they buying? What are they interested in? If you're using Mailchimp, you'll notice they actually call it interest. So if you're mainly a consumer oriented company, you may be tracking some of the things they like, just personal interests, and use that for mailing purposes. But interest can relate to what they're actually buying, products or services, if you're a business to business company as well. Year-to-date sales, that's a really popular one. So, again, in Zoho CRM, you can do some things using custom functions and custom scripts to, roll up the amount of revenue for each customer based on the deals or quotes that are being approved and being logged as closed won or sold. So on the contact level, you can have their year-to-date sales. You can also have, the date range of last purchases. And use that information in these list views. You could also use something around interaction and the tracking of interaction, so last activity based. So if you're wanting to send out sequences of emails through your email marketing tool based on people that have not interacted with you or you have not interacted with them over certain timeframes, you could use that as a list view. Other common ones would be geography related, so region or specific data such as state or city or country, depending on what type of work your company does. Other ones would be source or channel, again, really for specific purposes, maybe people that come through certain channels. If you have those in list views, you can then sync that data across to send them targeted campaigns that would be more relevant based on how they found about you. Another really common one is role, more so in business to business, but it certainly does apply to business to consumer. So, if you have the household decision maker and their spouse, you may want to only sync across a list view of people that are the decision maker. But in business to business world, that may be, let's say, if it's the commercial function you sell to, you may have the role of CEO, marketing director, sales director, and have that as a pick list on the contact and then sync that data across. Either way, these are just some of the common values that come across from general work that people do in this or needs that people have in this area. But really, because as you would hopefully know if you're a Zoho CRM user, it is a customizable solution, so really your needs can be met. So if you're a realtor, you may find that you just want to sync lists for people that are interested in condos or multi-purpose housing, something like that. Or you may, if you're a mechanic, may want to sync across the type of vehicles that they are interested in buying, whether it's cars or motorcycles. So anything can be applied to this. Of course, having that ability to customize your data and CRM with Zoho can certainly enable greater things along this level when you're talking about syncing to your email marketing tool. Just before we go into setting up, I did want to say that a lot of this stuff is not meant to be a one-time deal, so you may find that in time people change, they would move from one list to another. So that's certainly, if that happens, if they're in a list view because their criteria is we are a current customer now, but they become a past customer because they haven't bought something for a certain period of time, they're going to fall out of that list. So in Zoho, you can again automate that based on what type of automation you have set up, whether it's custom scripts or just regular workflow, depending on what you're tracking. But either way, if they fall out of that list in Zoho CRM, that should mean that the SyncApps tool will stop them from being on that group or list in your email marketing tool. So it's dynamic and live based on the current data and the real data as you see it in your CRM at any given time. So I just want to show you a quick demo because oftentimes this is where people get confused. We look at people's CRM instances daily, obviously, and one of the core requirements people have or confusions people have is with list views. just a bit of, I'm going to say housekeeping, maybe not the right term, but if you're still seeing my screen, you should see an instance of Zoho CRM. First, a small apology, this is our demo instance, so it is a little messy. We use this for various testing and all kinds of things, so you may see some fields all over the place, so don't get too confused with that. We'll try and keep it lean and to the point. The other thing is this is a particular edition of Zoho CRM. This is their CRM Plus edition, which is part of a bundle that Zoho offers. So if you are a subscriber to CRM on its own or the Zoho One bundle, it will look different. It's all pretty much the same, but just some of the coloring and way things are laid out, just a little bit different. So I didn't want people to be confused too much on that. But let's just look at the contacts, because that's generally where people say get even more confused, because leads, yes, that's one thing. It's just one isolated database. If you're syncing a subset of your lead data across, that's one thing. But for contacts, you may want to have information based off of data coming from other parts of Zoho. So in this instance, we're going to focus on this contact status field. So right now we're looking at our all contacts. So that's everything in this database. So this poor measly test database only has 15 records in it. So there's 15 contacts that all have accounts in the system, as well as then obviously deals and other related information. If we wanted to say have a list that's synced with SyncApps or through SyncApps to our email marketing tool for just our customers, we can use this field. So right now, if we just synced it across as it is, we could sync it so that this data comes across in a custom field in Mailchimp or Constant Contact or something like that. But as I say, we may have a specific purpose where for people that are new customers, we want them to receive a drip nurturing sequence through our email marketing tool or an onboarding sequence, something like that. So we want to have a custom list view in Zoho CRM just for customers, so we can make sure that that information is synced across with through SyncApps, and we can do with it what we choose. So in Zoho CRM, you do have the option of using the advanced filters here for your CRM-based list views, but that's not something that would apply to your sync through SyncApps. You actually need to build a list view from scratch. So if we wanted to do that, all we would need to do is open up this menu box here. And that gives us, as Joanna pointed out, the list of shared with me views. That's what are the standard views. They can only be modified slightly and they can't be deleted. So what we do need is a custom view. So we would use a create view option here. If you've never done this before, it is extremely simple and it is meant to be user-based. So from a training perspective, you may want to ensure your users know how to do this if they're looking to build lists or views for any of their own purposes. In this instance, we're going to say this is an admin-based function, meaning that you are the administrator and you are wanting to create this list and have it synced across to your email marketing tool through SyncApps. But you don't want necessarily anybody else playing with it, editing it, or causing some disruption with that sync. So we're going to say this is just an admin view. So if you wanted to sync this across to a group in, I'm going to say Mailchimp, because I know specifically that is supported through SyncApps. So if you wanted to sync this to an existing group in Mailchimp, you would need to have the view title exactly the same as it is in Mailchimp. If you're just looking to sync the view from Zoho CRM to Mailchimp and sync that to a list and have its own specific list in Mailchimp, then you can call it whatever you will. When you set up the SyncApps, it will all come across. So we're going to call this the customer group to cover both of those angles. And then it's going to ask you to specify the criteria. This is using logic-based systems. And so all that means is you're going to specify the criteria. So in this case, we want to look for the contact status field. And then we want to only have our customers populate. So we're just going to select contact status as customer. And then you can specify the fields that will show in columns through Zoho CRM. That's not necessarily too applicable for the SyncApps purpose, because you'll be syncing the fields that are available on the back end of Mailchimp. So first name, email address, anything else, and now contact status when you customize it in there. But yes, if you did want to just have this for your own purpose in CRM, then yes, you can add these columns across just by dragging and drop them like that. And then the last part, very simply, is who you want to see this with. Because we're going to say this is an admin-based feature, we're just going to keep it private to ourselves, so only me. But if you did want to have this shared with other people, then you can share it with everybody, or use select users, or pick from a list of select users to share it with. Once you save it, then you'll see that that list will be added to the set created by me. If you wanted to add that to your favorites, just so it appears at the top of the list here, you can just click the little star icon and that will move it up to the top. If you've got multiple favorites, you can then rearrange them by dragging and dropping them. But you'll see now this will show the 4 contacts that are only being populated where contact status equals customer. As I say, if you're using Zoho CRM in a way that that field is automatically updated based on deal information, then yes, if that field is updated to past customer because you've got a script or some automation that's stating if this customer doesn't purchase or deal is not closed won within 12 months, they are now effectively a prospect again or a past customer because we want to treat them slightly differently. They will drop off of this list and you'll only see the remaining people where contact status is equals customer. So that list will now be available to sync across the SyncApps. And because, as I said, we've labeled it custom group, if we had a custom group in Mailchimp, then that would be available to sync to the group in Mailchimp as well. But that's really it. It's a lot of powerful stuff here that you can use these users, say, for just about anything, whether it's CRM-based requirements or isolated just for marketing or in conjunction with both. But certainly, this is something that you can have a lot of fun playing around with, making sure you've got the data available to you that's going to help you meet your needs. That's everything that I wanted to cover. If you did have any questions, feel free to drop them into the chat box. Otherwise, I'm going to let Joanna pull this back so she can continue the presentation. And just thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Michael. And it's so wonderful to see that Zoho actually has that feature and how you can utilize that Zoho CRM List Views and do all of the filtering in Zoho and basically create the list views accordingly for integration. So it's very helpful. And for our attendees, please feel free to message Michael from Alderbest Solutions if you need extra assistance on setting up your CRM and managing it properly to create successful CRM management. So please feel free to send them a message, and they'll be very much happy to assist you. Okay. So for now, since Michael has already showed you how you can set up your Zoho CRM list views in your Zoho CRM and even in Zoho CRM Plus, I'll be showcasing now how you can easily set up your Zoho CRM list views with SyncApps. Okay. So let's just log into our SyncApps account. I have a pre-set up Zoho CRM integration account for demo purposes. So I'll just log into it very quickly. Now that we are on our SyncApps account, let's go to our sync profiles for Zoho CRM to any email marketing automation integration with SyncApps. So integrating your Zoho CRM list views is actually very simple and very easy to accomplish with SyncApps. So over in step 1 of your sync profile, which is all about the Zoho CRM integration and Zoho CRM setup, you have options to select a specific sync mode, and if you hover over the green eye tooltip, a sync note will be shown at the right side for you for more information about it. So for the sync mode, a group will be created. Let's say, for example, if your email marketing automation is Mailchimp, so a group will be automatically created in Mailchimp for every Zoho campaign or list view that you select. But if you are integrating with Constant Contact, it will be automatically a list in Constant Contact. Okay, so if you scroll down on this drop down, you have a few options for your sync mode. So you can sync all of your contacts, all of your Zoho campaigns, or you can even sync your specific list views. And if you select that, all you need to do is select which specific list views you would like to be synced from Zoho to your email marketing automation, and SyncApps will automatically create a one-to-one list or one-to-one group based on your list views. So all of the contacts or leads on your list views will be successfully integrated and filtered accordingly by different list views in your email marketing automation. So that is how simple it is to set up your list views with SyncApps. So if you also need extra assistance on setting up your integration with SyncApps, please feel free to send us a message at support@cazoomi.com, or you could also book a dedicated phone call with one of our sales engineers and to go over the setup integration on a one-on-one scheduled phone call. So currently, we offer over 10 SyncApps Zoho CRM integrations, and that is still counting with all of the features and all of the integrations that we have to be featured by next year or by late this year. So please do keep updated for any more SyncApps integrations and any enhancements in our featured available integrations. So for now, I have some examples which are our top Zoho CRM integrations up to date. So firstly, we have Zoho CRM to Constant Contact, which is of course available for our free plan if you're on Constant Contact. We also have Zoho CRM and Mailchimp integration, as well as Act On and Vertical Response. These are only the top 4 integrations, but if you have a specific email marketing automation, then please feel free to search over at our website, which is syncapps.cazoomi.com, so you can find more information on our available integrations for your Zoho CRM integration. So now I have here the SyncApps advantage. So firstly, SyncApps is reliable. So we help you seamlessly integrate your applications with ease. So in a 6-step easy process, you can already set up your data administration on autopilot. So this gives you financial peace of mind as you're growing your business and your division. Also, SyncApps is customizable. We have add-ons and features that are fully customizable so that you can modify your SyncApps account and your sync profile accordingly to your integration needs. So if you have a specific integration requirement, please feel free to send us a message, and our development team is able to customize that feature directly for you. So also, we encourage you to try out our powerful and robust features for your integration now. So if you have any question and answers, now is the time to interact with us and our guest speaker, Michael from Alderbest, and we'll be very much happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Joanna, just while people are thinking about any questions they may have, I just wanted to say that we're completely impartial, unbiased as it comes to the tools that people use to facilitate these types of integrations. But we've deployed SyncApps for integrations with Zoho CRM and Mailchimp, Constant Contact, etc. Many times, and that's not just because we're familiar with it and it's becoming easier for us to do, but it's really because it is the most superior tool, most robust and reliable, and unique in what it actually does. So for anybody that's not sure, exactly what the SyncApps advantage is, really there aren't many tools out there that can actually do these actual synchronizations. There are some things that can provide the pushing of data to add it from Zoho CRM to, let's say, Mailchimp. There are others that can do a sync, but they will not let you do either the campaign level information coming back, or what we talked about today in terms of the list views, or add the ability for custom field integrations and synchronization and things like that. So really SyncApps is way heads and shoulders above the rest, and it's very unique in actually what it can do for people. And I just wanted to say that because it is oftentimes forgotten. misunderstood.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that wonderful description of what SyncApps is and what we do for the clients and their integration. Also, if you need assistance with managing your CRM and how you can customize and fully utilize your CRM or your Zoho CRM and CRM Plus, please feel free to send Michael and his team at Alderbest Solutions a message, and I'm glad to be with them for the webinar today. So thank you so much, Michael, for your time, for being with us again, and we hope to see you in another one.
No problem, my pleasure.
Sure. Thank you so much. And I believe that that concludes our Walkthrough Wednesdays for today. And I thank you all for coming. And I hope to see you all again next time. So I hope you have a great day ahead, and thank you.